I cannot believe it. We are literally doing a marathon live. Okay, this is live part three. What do you mean, part three? If you didn't join us part one, we were celebrating, okay? We were celebrating Umnisi Wemvula for starting the marathon and ending the marathon that he was not supposed to go to. But in that announcement of his email, the judge said, "You can call me Uncle Tom, and I don't care." We have Njabz who has educated us. There's a whole book. I've downloaded it. It's literally 16 hours. Books are typically a 5 hour listen. This one said 16 hours. So I already know it's going to be a deep dive. Make sure you drop a one in the comment section if you want us to do a series on this book so we all discover together the implications when a black man looks at himself in the mirror and says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is Uncle Tom today?" Wow. Go ahead, Nani. We had cut you off in the middle of your conversation due to technical limitations. Welcome back. Thanks for coming back, guys. I'll introduce Noni of course, Noni Madigela podcast. No, Noni M podcast. And then we have Njabz of Gaza Nation over there on the TikTok streets. Okay, he's managing TikTok. We played his clip earlier with Patricia Mashale. When that the clip from what's his name, minister something, minister portfolio on TikTok as well. So I promise you guys I'm going to edit that. I'm going to find it on Netflix, edit it, and put it properly so that we do see if Longa is limping or not, because the other video was very, very grainy. All right, let's get into it. Let's continue the conversation.
So I was just saying, Utinje, whatever happens when it comes to the case, guys, it happens. It's not like I don't think most of us will be hurt, yes, because that's not the end result that we want. However, we would not be surprised. We won't be surprised. We've already seen what's going to happen. Nothing will shock us at all because we've been macro managed to understand that's what will happen, whether directly or indirectly, but we are aware what can happen. However, we are hopeful that perhaps someone can do the right thing. But the marriage contract ended long time ago when it comes to the case. It's like dead, dead, dead. You can't force a man to love you. When he's gone, he's
You're
gone.
just coming home.
To change
You're just coming
and
home
then
to
go
change
back.
clothes. That's where you left us off.
Yes, that man
That was a
is
painful
coming
description.
home. It is coming home to change his clothes and then go to work, from work to his girlfriend, etc. Then perhaps maybe sometimes he will come back on Monday, sometimes he'll come on a Wednesday, depending when he needs something from home. That man does not even notice the children anymore. He doesn't know when someone is getting a birthday, when someone is doing what grade at school, all of those things. That's the kind of a relationship that we are watching crumbling here in this case. And it's not going to get any better. It crumbled a long time ago. And back in 2023, Njabz would agree, Njabz has been exposing things. It's just that he was doing it on TikTok, but it was happening. He's been analyzing, he's been doing this thing. It's just that now we came in the forefront big time.
Yes.
We came in the
When I
forefront
look
big
at
time.
the videos that he shares, you can see it will say 2023. You can see that no, he's been on these streets. And my memory of
Yep.
Njabz, I'll remind you, because maybe both of you don't remember. Njabz we were waiting for him on Noni's channel, and she's like, "Today I'm gonna have a special guest, you guys, special guest," and would gather. Special guest where? Dollar. Special guest where? Dollar. But I'm so glad that the universe has realigned and now it's actually happening. Thank you so much, Njabz. And Noni, of course.
Mm. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah. People, I think the first time when I switched on the video, like people, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. It's like, and I always tell people that for me not doing it, it makes it safer for me, because if they are kidnapping me, somebody can say, I saw that guy there. Understand? So I wanted, because you had a speaker from with the accent, that from the American point of view, bringing out the contrast of Uncle Tom. It's like also there's also this thing of Auntie Jenny, basically. That's that. Now, I want
Auntie,
you back, Auntie Jenny.
Auntie,
Yeah, yes, it's a female Uncle Tom. No, this thing is bigger.
ah,
I wanted to cover this thing with with Noni and everything because probably you've seen some of those things. It's either Auntie Jenny or they can say Auntie Thomasina or something like that.
I'll be
These things,
honest. I have seen Auntie Jenny, but when you're not part of that culture, you don't really follow it intensely. I thought it had to do with a recipe, or you know what? Let me not show my ignorance on the internet. I didn't know what it
yes,
was. It's only now I'm
it,
realizing. Wait, what? It's another Uncle Tom.
it's it's because guys, I spent time watching. There was this old series name. Actually, there's a movie. The movie is set in, I think it's on the ship. I'm not sure is it the Amazon or something like. But the ship will take African slave from Kenya all around Africa. If then now they don't do work, and they will be put in chain and be released in the sea or something like that. If a person may be sick, is no longer able to fire up the steam engine because they will work underneath on the coals. They have to fire up the engine up until it gets to the next destination. So if then they die in between, then they become weak, they are chained like this and be released into the sea. Now,
What's the
so
significance of that? So they drown?
it's like killing, like, yeah, taking them out basically, because if you're weak, you're no use to be in the ship basically. So we can't keep, there's no sick bay basically for, that's one. And then
Okay,
also,
okay, yeah.
yes, and then also this thing Uncle Tom, it is similar to another, mm, it's a movie again, or it's a series or a telenovela or a documentary, a story of Kunta Kinte.
Yes, that one I know. Yes, yes.
It's now, so when now you grew up looking at these things, and in between these things, so that people don't think that I've been focusing on documentaries of international um, stories or histories or archive. I also look at ingum yeminyaka. Kuthiwa no, isitori saka Jola or Jola and the snake that was being acted by our old actor who can come, and the story of Nongawuz. Then now comes through to Ishaga Ilem, and
Oh, yes.
also and then also the stories of the Lion King, when you see Oscar, basically, because there's always that uncle that is rogue.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he acts like a,
Mm.
then in a sense of my case, you get like your Mohanes who are good cop, bad cop. It's like your Uncle Scar. They act like they are good to you, but they were leading on dance to a cliff. So now
Mm.
coming back to a concept of Uncle Tom. Family, we need to. I've actually taken this thing up, and I've even used different AI tools to just see with him where the origins of this offensive slur. Because Uncle Tom, it is a slur, basically.
Mm.
And what is its role now? Do you understand? Now, the fact which we're doing it now, the mainstream journalists whom are being paid, they've got a front seat in court. They're supposed to be doing these things and actually crying out foul. But Newsroom Africa, they went A1. And you guys have been talking about my video. If you go on my videos as well, I knew Newsroom Africa almost a year ago, and I posted a video say, shame on you. Who hired you? What happened this week?
You know what? I just want to interrupt on that. Let's get into that whole news from Africa thing. I have seen the comments. People have been telling me. I've also noticed here and there, but it really struck a nerve this week. That of all the things you could talk about, all the things you could talk about, you were focusing on an individual's personal life. That's what you could focus on. And then tie it up with the pretty bow and say that the members of the public are demanding justice, they're tired of waiting. What about when we're screaming up and down about the fingers being thrown up and down? What about when we are screaming? There's so many instances. What about the word Uncle Tom? And then when they talked about Uncle Tom, when Dalimpofu addresses the Uncle Tom slur, because now we've determined it is a slur,
Yes.
Newsroom Africa ran, okay, wanted to run on the N3 away from that conversation. But Dalimpofu said, come here, we're talking about it today. And here we are as well, continuing on that conversation. Go ahead.
Yes.
So I
So,
personally wanted to stay
so
away from drama. I'm not a person who wants drama, but I said to myself, what's the point of having a platform if you're going to do the exact same thing as mainstream media and keep quiet when things like this are done? Nisi did not say he doesn't want the court to sit. He said he is not going to be in court. Huge difference.
that's true. That's true. And then also, Nis was never even given a chance to say that what's going to happen. And we've done that huge contrast with Noni, where on the 5th of May, like literally both Mshololo and Nxumalo were not in court, and Ramsipil was standing in. So for three people. So now that could have not been a problem if Monday uh, um, the guy asked Nxumalo and Mshololo to stand in for accused accused number one and number three, respectively. I mean, they can try all along to say we must call them Mr. So and so. It's just too late for that. It's just too late. I had them reading the judgment has been there for many years. Why now? It's like they, they want to be holier than thou. I think for me, that was just off. That was just off. It's accused number one. There's a lot of judgment. Why don't they read about a lot of judgment that have accused number
Mm,
one says these things, say these things? I man, these
mm.
people, man, they mustn't. So, so
Well, it's play. It's they're singing for their supper. At the end of the day, I know that Dan had taken up issue with Rams suddenly wanting to say Mr. Ntanzi and why now, but we also have to look at it. Sometimes you've got to sing for your supper, and sometimes you have to sing to Uncle Tom. I mean, it is what it is. But I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Noni, sorry, I'm busy yapping. I didn't. I just feel that there's a lot of distractions in that court, and there's also a temptation to say I'm not watching this anymore, this is difficult, and I think we need to stay the course. And that is my takeaway from Umnisi's experience this week. He experienced the worst humanity could throw at him while at work. While he's at work, he's being humiliated by his own boss. And where is HR? Where is human resources? Where is parliament? Okay, you're issuing a statement, but what are you really doing? And then you have a JP saying, hey, to the left, I stand with Urata. You can never make me hate him. That's what the JP literally said. Said, you can never make me hate him. So then we have Umnisi, who still continued. And I'm so proud of him for doing that because, many of us would have said, okay, you know what, my boss said, no, I can't take the time off. Many of us wouldn't have proceeded, but he did. And then he completed the race and he completed it in his best time ever. What is your prediction, Jabs and Noni? Is Nisi going to be in court tomorrow?
I think for me, I want to start now dealing with that before we digress, because the slay word of Uncle Tom is we need to see it now, because like all the other slash songs that Malema has sung, they've been put on spotlight for one reason or another. Now,
Very
these
true.
these these extremely racial remarks where in the modern South Africa, in South Africa as it is now, the impact on it, it's very devastating because it's like you are weaponizing um, the community. So like within the professions of lawyers, so like you are weaponizing. So we know that Uncle Tom, it is a racial history around it. But now you as a black person, you're using it within the black community where you're saying, I'm condemning and social control, which now that you see when you're saying these things, hence Ubampof was saying he mean this thing, the racial slurs, because he's saying it for the second time. And Tina, because we're following the case, is saying he's been saying them almost every second day. Now, who are these things
I think I,
directed to?
I think I heard I actually just want to jump in and say you can always tell someone who watches the case in detail and someone who doesn't. Advocate Dalumpofu does not follow it on a day-to-day basis, but he knew enough to know this was the second time. Go ahead.
Yes. Now, now these things are frequently directed to public figures. So now all the advocates that are there are public figures, basically. And we know that the judge off the mic, which comments does he make? Political comments. He calls politicians. So those are target academic celebrities. And you will go through these things and saying, there are clever blacks. There are people who are saying A, B, C, D. But then his center of criticizing people is just criticizing black activism as well as black culture. That's what this thing is about, Gwen. And it behavior yakhe will always tell us that he has never driven a 2-cylinder, 4-cylinder car or whatever this thing that he will say.
Yeah,
Um,
Njabz, your memory. Yes. I just remember
eh,
the part where he spoke of the 8 cylinder, but you're right. He undermined anyone driving less than. Wow. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
he
I
can't
hear
relate
you.
to that. Even his vehicle, he makes examples of Bentleys and the Jaguars, and he makes of them he talks about the opulence. It's like I'm black, I've made it, and don't think that um
Sorry, Njabs, and then him not knowing a Nissan brand car. What's that? A
Oh,
cash
the
cash.
cash. What does Nisi call the cash?
What's that?
Wow. And he said since he was
mm,
18, I think he said 18 or 16.
yes,
Wow.
yes,
See, I remember the
when he
conversation, but now that we're putting it in the Uncle Tom context, changes everything. It's so
yes,
revealing.
yes, because people are not they've not been paying attention to this thing. Now, when part of these impact, what these things are directed to, there's a concept that is also called racial policing. Do you understand? You can look it up, this thing, but this is one thing where um, people they say that it serves as a powerful or a deep harmful mechanism to enforce or conformity of a specific ideas of black identity and political alignment. How many times Racha will tell us about how he represented uh, the politician, how the 90
So-called, he
rules,
would say the
yes,
so-called cadres.
yes, the so-called KDR. So he's doing a racial policing. Do you understand? And now, when he says these things, it has for me now, for me, that the the psychological harm. If Danny says to me, call me an Uncle Tom, it's not just criticizing their politics, but it attacks the fundamental identity and integrity.
Mm, mm.
Hey,
No, he
guys,
said, I don't care if you call me an Uncle Tom.
yes.
Whatsoever.
Now, how these things, because it's been like you're being defiant when you're using this word, but now he's using it on his 1928 judgment, the umpire, Hepwell, is using it on Hepwell, on top of Hepwell. Now, yes, Hepwell,
Why
the
is he always
1928
Hepburn
judgment.
is such a hero?
Yes, because Hepwell defines the level of people. Do you understand? Now, for him, it's like
Mm,
saying, because I'm right there on top, I'm not down there in the gallery. Now, that's when
yes.
now this Uncle Tom phrase become highly insulting and has a provocative intent. And it's very risky because it implies that one thing, that a speaker is fully aware of the accusation and the stereotype of the term, call me Uncle Tom. He rejects the definition of authenticating blackness and loyalty. Do you understand? And 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 then he will
I'm
go
listening and
on
I'm
and
learning.
on and on. Yes, he will go on and on and on. But then when he goes on about all the history of struggle, because when he's talking about apartheid, he's not at the level of people who are being accused as terrorism. He's not in a level of people who were accused of suffering. He's not on a level of people who were on the other side of the authorities at the time. He still projects himself as a person who was a savior. He's always been Uncle Tom
Mm.
through the apartheid times. So that is why for me that, you know what, this slur word, it has a very, 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 very toxic framework. And whoever
So
says
can you
this
tie it
thing,
in?
it's an insult to
So
black
now that
people.
you've opened our eyes, you've pulled our eyes open, and he said it with his chest, Uncle Tom. Now can we tie it back to whenever he mentions Nelson Mandela? What's the behind the scenes on that?
Yes. So now, him being Uncle Tom, and now he's saying until Mandela is resurrected. So when Mandela is resurrected, who is he gonna see? Uncle Tom. Save me, Uncle Tom. It's like, have you been beaten up when you are a child? And
Mm,
what
mm.
ufuna ba biza lowo muntu. And like now, the younger generation now, I hear them go TikTok, athi ngishayiwe uma emjoleni ngivele ngifonele umfana ngithi mfana uzongikhipha le pain. Do you understand?
Mm,
That's that.
mm.
That is that. When every time when I feel when he's calling Mandela, it's like, you could have been a president, but I don't care. Even this last week, he even said, I even remember Mgomezulu saying that even Mandela, when he comes here to court, he's Mandela. Yes, he
Did
even made that
Ngomezulu
thing
say that?
because no, Ngomezulu made, yes, he did made an analogy of when Mandela was called to court on the Rabi matter with Louis Late,
Okay.
that
Mm-hmm,
he
mm-hmm.
did not
He was
want to
referred
be
to as
addressed
Mandela.
as a president. Yes, he was referred to as Mr. Mandela. Now, every chance that he gets, he's going after ANC. We don't know what did they not pay his invoice? Because it looked like ANC and PC, they didn't pay his invoice the way he's on about it. And now guys, what because you asked me that I must tie it up. I'm tying it up, this thing as an analyst. Now, all of these things, these Uncle Tom things, and people who don't see it, guess who says there's nothing wrong about Ratcha's utterances?
The JP. The JP.
It's the
For
JP.
me, that's
Let me
shocking.
yes, let me unpack for you who's the JP. The
Uh-oh.
JP, the
Mm.
JP is a person that sealed the bank statement for for the
Mm.
CR17 campaign.
No, no.
The JP,
No, no. Wow.
no, 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 I'm gonna be very light. The JP
No, no,
is
no,
the
no.
same
I'm
person.
just reacting because you're pulling. You're like, no one is sleeping today. Okay, we're listening to them. Wow, keep going, Njabz.
It-
You've got the mic. Own it. Let's go.
It's the person that told the government of the day, saying, "I don't care what you have done, but you must arrest the Sudanese government in South Africa," and he had to be smuggled out. And I know how that happened. And you can ask me. You can ask me.
Wow.
So, so you see now that when people don't understand, sometimes one way or
My
another,
jaw.
no, no, that's these things because they arrived when I was there. I was in that position of power. So now you need to understand that it's the same person that there was a judgment that he wrote, his court wrote and saying public protectors' findings are binding. So anybody must comply with it. Then he comes back when the public protector has changed and somebody else is there says, no, 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 that's not what I said. It's different. Now, that's the JP.
Mm.
Now, what
Wow.
then Raja also said, he said even the JP was his junior.
Now everything makes sense.
Yeah, that's what Raja said. He said
That's where
JP is
yeah.
his junior as well.
Because I
Now,
wanted
who's
to
going to do?
understand what was important for the judge. So we're talking about Uncle Tom telling us that you think the JP is my boss? You think the JP is going to tell me what to do? I've seen your utterances and I'm here to tell you he's my junior. What you gonna do now? Wow.
Akangixeli lokho
Wow.
lo JP
So
wenu. That's what he said. Akangixeli lokho lo JP wenu.
and what did the
Yes,
JP do? What did the JP do?
Angingixeli
He
lokho ngaye.
responded to Newsroom
Miyekeni
Africa
enze
and said,
ayifunayo.
no big deal. I stand
mm,
with Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom is doing just right.
exactly.
Wow.
Because he's the senior.
Oh my
You'll see when you look at Tom's cabin, you'll see that there's a person who's holding something that controls everything. It's like that rich uncle that has a car in a township that we all go to. We all have stories how we were moved from one place to
yes.
school, where our parents will go
Gotcha.
to
Kabaka
and
uncle with
ask
the
money.
car. Uncle. Yes.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
there's this uncle in the
Yeah.
township.
Go deeper, Jobs. Go deeper. Oh, we know the uncle.
Even
Mm-hmm.
and then
Everybody
that
has that
uncle
uncle.
always has a wife who's a nurse. Whenever somebody needs a bandage or a plaster, they go to Auntie so and so. You see, what people don't understand is Mr. Mbeki, Mr. The younger brother of former president, he wrote, there's a
Umweletse.
book, Moeletsi, yes, The Architects of Apartheid. When you read that book, you understand certain things. When you read the book again by Mark Hafeser, Thabo Mbeki Dream Deferred, the first version, there's also there a chapter where it defines the relationship between the two former presidents, the Jay-Z and the TM. how they were brought up, how they share a father whom the other one was a political father, the other one was a biological father. You see. Now, for me, a hierarchy is everything. That's why he understand Brigadier Kininde when Brigadier Kininde is pulling the rank. Because he, Rata himself, he pulls the rank. He tells you that you can tell me about Matoko. Matoko did articles under me. You can tell me about JP. JP was a junior to me. You can tell me about whoever. They were all juniors to me. Then you would acknowledge the dead one and saying, oh, who's that other one? No, was the first advocate to be admitted. But the current crops, no. Yena is aligned himself with your late former Chief Justice Lang. This is no. We were there when we forming this Black Lawyers for Association. Now that they didn't invite me when they were
Njabz.
unveiling.
You remember when
Yes,
he was not happy when they did not invite him to something that was happening,
it's
but
Uncle
was busy
Tom that
asking
is.
others, "Are you going?"
No, it's Uncle Tom when he's smelling meat, which who's frying without my permission. That's that, that's what it is, guys. That's what it is.
Hi, guys, the conversation was nice. Thank you so much. Me, I'm going to bed. I don't want to look ugly tomorrow. This morning.
So so early.
I'm tired.
No, Unoni only sleeps at 2, Nina, guys. So
Hmm?
you must know what is just pulling a anti Tom on us.
Njabulu yazi ukuthi we always sleep at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. But today I'm tired. Yo. Mzansi, dila nonjabulu nanku uyangisukela. He's coming for me.
I think she fell asleep.
Oh, she says I must wait. She's coming back. The comment section.
Yeah, well, so yes. So guys, I mean for us, that is that painful.
Everything is that deep, Jabs. Everything is that deep.
Yeah, because I mean for me, I always say that, you know what, guys, this case this case has turned out to be something else that we all didn't
Do you know what
plan.
it has made though? For me, it has elevated Senzo from the grave. Senzo is big, Njabulo. Senzo Meyiwa is not just any brand name. He is the brand name. Because if it was not for his names, there's a lot of things that we would have never known. He is the I wish even his children could understand ukuthi ubaba ubani. He is a big deal, Usenzo Meyiwa. He's a big deal.
Yeah, no, these are some of the things that we're trying to 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 expose and saying that, you know what, you can't deal with the brand that was at its prime at that time, one, like that. And then number two,
I'm back.
you can't
Why
you
did you
can't
say I was
go on.
sleeping? I I sleep very late. I had taken a
Yes.
comfort break, my lord. I taken a comfort break, my lord. Since if I asked for a comfort break, my lord was going to start screaming and throwing his hands. Uncle Tom, no one takes a
Athi,
comfort break. But
yes, sis. Yes,
yes,
sis.
yes.
Yemadoda. Utata kanjabulo.
Black lawyers, they need a comfort break. Remember when Gomezulu asked for a comfort break, he said, no, keep going. Gomezulu tried again. Wow.
Mm.
But who now is taking comfort breaks when the heat is on 6? Only Siwemvula is flogging the horse. Let's take a break. It's my lord. Wow.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah. So
It's
so
crazy.
yeah. So for me, that is why where I just felt that that was that didn't have a nice taste for me. And I wish that people can actually really take it very seriously.
So there's a song by Chris Martin that I absolutely love. It says, I'm a big deal. So I love to play it a lot when I have some wins. Bringing that up because Unoni spoke about, does Senzo even realize what he did? Senzo is senzoing, okay? He is senzoing from the grave and just turning things around, exposing. Every time we think we've heard the worst, then we find out, no, it gets even worse. There is more. There's confessions, but no, no, no. He misled us in the confession, but I took bits and pieces. How did you know? Like, what criteria did you use to say this part is good in the confession and this part is bad? Like, I want to see someone highlight Moses, well, not somebody, Kininda himself, to highlight and say, green, this is good, blue, this is bad. And so we understand how his investigation decided that this confession is 50-50, but we'll still use it. And then the NPA said, yeah, sure, okay. So it was Tobisi's toilet. No, okay, no, let's just find Tobisi in the system that can fit the description. And he has a gold tooth, no problem. We have a photo that shows him with a gold tooth. Especially now in this time of AI, where did these 16 photos wake up and come from? No. The defense
And
needs
they
to
mized
hammer on that.
Mzansi, they mized Mtobisi when he said that if you are saying I had a gold tooth, take me to a dentist. Just like you took Mtobisi to a dentist.
They didn't take him because Baloy didn't jump up and down for that one. The evidence can only come from the state and nowhere else. Anywhere else, it's not evidence. It's false.
I hope in these pictures that they are referring to, they are not going to come with a picture saying that he had a gold tooth, because that will come down like, I don't know what you call a truck ton of bricks something, because wow. Mtobisi will have to force to go to the dentist who's gonna come and tell them that he has never had a gold tooth.
He just needs to cut his hair. Okay, he's feeding into the description and he's making it easy to fall into the description of he had locks. He needs to cut his hair, return back to the status of what he looked like when he was in solitary confinement, because now he's just making it easy for them to say, look, this guy had locks. Why now? Only after he got out of solitary confinement, he's now growing his hair again. It's going to end badly. That's my 2 cents on his hair. I don't normally police people's hair. But while we're there, is Uncle Tom ever going to cut his hair? I'm just asking for a friend. I've seen the
He
comments
shortens
like that in the
them.
comments.
He cuts them short. You must check him when he has a fresh haircut. It's
Oh,
always him taking them, making them shorter. He
no,
does cut them.
yeah, and also, guys, you know what? Yes, I'm gonna kataza you guys. I'm gonna really stress you guys a lot. Um, I don't want to do spoilers and everything like that, but um, it it comes through to me like him say Uncle Tom, and remember in the
Mm.
beginning he requested a book. I think was it with Mangena or Roloffs about guns, how guns were
Okay,
made. I
yes,
think he
yes.
borrowed, yes, I think at some point he borrowed a book to read. Now we are always saying, and then he always say, yeah, I'm going to say everything is cooked. And people don't understand that. Now for me, when the cooking and the collusion and everything happens, now you will see when you read the book, The Tom's Cabin, because it actually comes a bit quite interesting because you find when they're cooking, like steamed bread, they're competing. It's like competing who can prepare better food because at the time that they were so these were just little masters basically around the Uncle Tom's cabin. Uncle Tom's cabin, ne? It's like now all the people who can cook, they can come there. If I'm not mistaken, that's covered in about chapter 4. But they will come there in Uncle Tom's cabin. People will cook, and then they will say, "Oh, Uncle Lapanyo Pego Brian can cook nice biryani." And then, but in this instance, it's like steamed bread. Almost said, "Oh, steamed bread." I mean, oh, but you know what? Um, this Uncle Ginny, Auntie Ginny, is gonna cook a pie for you. That is like, and then says, "Oh, Uncle Ginny, a pie. Why a pie? What? How is he gonna close it?" You see now. Now I want that when I look at that metaphor of the chapter 4, when they're talking about the types of food that can be prepared, and now where the cooking that we're saying is following of the case, we're saying the cooking is happening in the Pretoria High Court, in Rata's court. But then Rata says, no, 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 you can call me Uncle Tom. So these types of cooking is happening in Uncle Tom's. Hey, my goodness. You know, that's when we need people who are praying now. That's when we need people who are praying.
Mm.
That's when we need people who are praying. That it happens at Uncle
No,
Tom's
no, this
cabin.
case. So I don't normally like to, religion is very divisive on YouTube streets and views and don't. Okay, so I normally stay away from that. And I said no, but you know what? This is in a battle. He's in a battle that needs intercessors. This one is a deep one. Where are the intercessors in the comment section? Because he needs to be surrounded. He needs to be protected. Um, so watching his battle this week from start to finish, from Monday to Sunday, what happens tomorrow is no longer about Umnisi. It's now about Uncle Tom and how he feels that I have been defied. My word should be the Alpha and Omega. How dare he go and do the Comrades Marathon? And how dare those YouTubers talk about it too? So, yeah. And so, yes, continue, Njabz, with the prayers. So, I want to acknowledge that because anything religious is frowned upon on the YouTube streets. But then you say, so what is my purpose then if I shy away from such conversations at such crucial moments?
Sorry, mute. Yes. No, no, that's fine. That's when like I really feel that you know what Nessie is touched also other people on the studio. I know that you know what we also speak, but we battle things every day. We fighting different battles, and yeah, but that's our journey. That's what we sign up for. But what is this important is that people at the same court have prosecuted people who have used racial slur. I had an incident when a person used racial slur. I think it was amongst the first people that were given sentence or with the option of the fine for using a racial slur because I had so much evidence again with me, not just myself, but other people that I was able to tell and they were able to testify from. Now, so Mnisi, when we look through now, when he is going back into the cabin, because it's not going to a court, you must remember that the cabin has different rooms for different people. Mzansi. Now, What does this mean? It means that
I'm listening.
there will be there will be certain things that will be discussed in chambers. There will be certain things that will be
Mm,
discussed in the section of a prosecution when they talking slowly below their hot mics. There will be things that will be discussed in different factions or within the defense side. There will be things that will be discussed on the witness stand. That is why where we see new videos coming, who's bringing that? It cannot be Baloyi, but it's the witness. Now you see that there's
mm-hmm.
these different conversations. Now, when you hear Baloyi says, no, Usbande will come through, and then you hear Judge says, but you cannot bring something out and say, Usbande must be the one who's answering. Now, because now we know we're on the street, we know that Usbande, like people will say that Umgomezulu is our friend. Do you understand? Now, what then will
Mm-hmm,
happen
mm-hmm.
is other people will also say Usband is their friend. So now we know good people are updating each other as court as the court because the people that know the case more than the prosecutors, it's us, TikTokers and YouTubers.
Very true.
Exactly.
Oh
I
yeah.
think we have addressed.
And I'm more than happy to provide them with our notes. I'm more than happy. I would rather they reported accurately, even though they have a full-time employee sitting journalist inside that courtroom typing away. They always look so busy typing, typing, going. I would rather that, okay, you have a full-time person in there, but the YouTubers know more than they do. Or should I say, reveal more than they do. There's another day I did an audit on one of the journalists in there in the courtroom, full day. I said, let me go to Twitter and see what their tweets were. Dololo. What are they typing? Because they'll be typing. There's a lot of typing that goes on. So to say I'm disappointed is an understatement. And to think, what if I was not watching the Senzomewa trial? What if? Whatever they say, there's a lot of people who are buying into the perception that they're selling. Nisi is a rogue advocate. How dare he want to go run in a marathon on a Sunday? For goodness sake. No one is questioning that.
Yeah,
Dan
I think we
says,
yeah, I think we have a guest. I'm not sure.
oh, it's Noni. I think Noni was switching devices. So Dan says, what does
Uh,
Uncle Tom Judge mean when he says, just in case this case goes anywhere? Has he already written a ruling?
So
It's Uncle Tom's
again,
way of saying, go ahead.
yes, it's exactly the same thing inside the cabin because Uncle Tom in the
Mm.
cabin again, it will then start telling you that you know what, it is possible to make diamonds in a laboratory of a chemistry, but with minimal practical value. Of a chemistry. So now, what I'm saying in answering that is like saying there is a section in Uncle Tom that is busy with the production. So you could be sitting in a sitting room talking. There are people who are cooking, on the other side preparing drinks, doing multiple things. So yes, I can tell you, he knows what then he knows. He knows what the end of the judgment looks like. It's just filling up the blank. What then he knows? He knows what the end of the judgment looks like. It's just filling up the blank. What then he knows? He
Noni
knows
and
what the end of the judgment looks like. It's just filling up the blank. What then he knows? He knows
are you
what the
going to
end
mute
of the
Noni?
judgment looks like.
Let me mute her.
It's just filling up the blank.
Okay, perfect.
Uh,
Um, sorry about that, Njabz. So, in the cabin, where is this judgment? Kitchen, dining, in the back, living area, where is the judgment? Because you say it's ready.
Yes. So again, because we're talking about Uncle Tom,
Mhm.
okay, I'm trying to see where's the judgment. I can't see. Maybe it's in a safe somewhere locked.
But it's ready. Yes, you are
Yes, yes,
team judgment is ready.
yes.
Okay.
The judgment is ready.
Okay.
But you see, you
Is
know,
that why
you look
Lo
at
is
them.
talking about time?
It's not time. There's these things, there's this, there's that. That's what happens.
Mm, wow. We have not even digressed today. We have gone to uncharted waters. A lot of revelations for me, what I heard, understanding, in depth understanding of when someone says, "You can call me Uncle Tom, I don't care." Wow.
Yes. It's like it's like a person says to you, the word is ubiquitous. U B Ubiquitous.
You what? Say it again, sorry.
Ubiquitous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ubiquitous.
Okay. Okay. Ubiquitous. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So in a nutshell, you know what the word says. What's the definition of the word?
No, never seen it before. Do you want me
All
to read the
right.
definition?
Yes, please read the definition.
Okay. Ooh, I don't even have to finish typing. It's there. Wow, 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 wow. What does it mean if someone says ubiquitous, existing, or being everywhere? So in this case, existing, especially at the same time, omnipresent.
Yes. So now, from my space ne, and how I do analysis, I will then go as far as what we call ubiquitous UTS, technical surveillance. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
am collecting existing evidence. Do you understand? But
Mm-hmm.
it's already there. I'm just repositioning it to suit
Bringing it to the
whatever I
forefront.
want. Yes, because I need to create this comprehensive picture. So that's why now I'll have these witnesses that are coming in there. But for all I care, I already know what is it. It's already there. It's always been there. It's just that people are not seeing it. They may see um as type of techniques basically. It's either sometimes a person will be direct or a person will be pro-constructive or it could be reconstructive. When one says direct
Okay.
covert is, so that's why you will see this case is made up of witnesses, statement of witnesses that are dead, witnesses that don't even come into court. You're facing a case of assault, but you don't have a person that is being assaulted that is there in court. Do you understand?
Hmm.
Now,
I hear you.
what
Hearing you.
is? So then now, what are the principles that are silence within this word is the legalities, which now they're trying to tick the box that there was a court, there was um they were
Oh.
given their rights. Then principle two,
Mm,
legitimate aim. Oh yes, we've given them legal aid within section 35F, what have you not.
mm,
Necessities, we've allowed them time if they needed to prepare postponements, look at the evidence.
mm,
Proportionalities, we've actually given them relevant lawyers that will be dedicated to them. Safeguard, we've made sure that they do not get access to witnesses that will either disturb what we've already created, that already exist.
mm.
Non-discriminatory, you have a situation now where once you start to ask Brigadier Kininda something else, we say you're not respecting him. When once you start to go directly on stain, you're saying, but this witness is coming from witness. You feel a protection from the judge. A complaint and remedy, you hear the judge saying, what are you saying, Gomezul? You're saying, I'm colluding with the state. Do you know what does that mean? I
Mm,
will sue you or you apologize to me.
mm.
Those are 7 principles of protecting
Let me ask
that
you this.
way.
You mentioned disturbing. You mentioned disturbing. So is the inspection in loco disturbing them?
Yes. No. But then now they
Why?
will say, remember, part of principle 5, they need to safeguard. You
Okay.
safeguard the evidence,
Can
you
I please take
protect
your
your ring
notes?
fencing. Yes. Now, so now, if you no longer are able to safeguard, then you are in
Wow.
trouble. Because you can no longer
So this
safeguard
is a
now.
safeguard tactic. That's why Baloyi did not even bother to approach correctional services. He's safeguarding. He doesn't want to move to that step. He's blocking right
Yes.
now.
Yes. Because that's that's the issue. You don't want Mjiako to come in. You don't even want any direct link to Mjiako to come in because you're safeguarding.
So he said no other witness is coming, which means Herman from FFC is not coming either. So Sambo's record remains as is on the record.
Yeah, but then now it will remain as what? Remember, I told you, said necessity. That's what
Okay,
I said
okay.
to you. You want to appear as if you've done the job.
You've done the check mark.
Yes.
You've
Who's
provided
gonna
legal
complain?
aid. You've read them
Yes.
their rights. They have been given whatever adjournments they need. Okay, okay. On the surface, it
You
looks
see?
nice and pretty. The problem is these YouTubers. Man, nobody could have
Yes.
predicted these YouTubers. And YouTube is not owned by any South African entity. So you cannot infiltrate and get rid of these channels.
Yes.
What a
Now,
problem.
when now Baloy tells you that, you know what, I I need 3 days to prepare for security. But then one will know that once you talk about security, you need to look at the fundamentals. Prevention. What are the proactive measures that they
Prevent.
need to take to deter anything that will lead them to gold spot? Is there
Mm.
any technology that they can use basically to identify the spot without them going there? Remember, Rams wanted the photos.
Ram said, yeah, technology. Let's use modern technology. Dun dun. Shame on you, Rams. But
Yes. And then you look at your response and you look at your recoveries. Now, these people, they've planned for these things. They've planned for it. But what they didn't prepare for is the last pillar of security management, which is crisis management. That.
Mm.
Because yes, a security management pillars, I think that it has 5 pillars, if I'm not mistaken. There's like what infrastructure, security, data, people, and physical. Or physical,
Mm.
people, data, infrastructure, security, and then crisis management. They have not dealt with the crisis management because for them, they thought that when they look on security, all the 4 A's are covered: administration, authentication, authorization, and audit. There's the administration is that we have the head of correctional services that are coming through to us. We have OB entries to authenticate our things. We have authorization that every time Mohola and Mohane says we've called Brigadier Gininda, the lead investigator, to tell us. Then we have the audit, which about Sambo and everybody like that. That's what they thought they've done.
Mm-hmm.
But
So,
then, yes,
excuse me. Do you think that okay, we've waited for the AVLs. We got excited that the AVLs were coming. They never came. We got a speech from Baloy. We got affidavits. Do you think the inspection in local will actually happen?
it's going to happen. Then they said save that for argument. They're just going to
Okay, so
go
it's
for
going to happen.
escaping. Yes. So, yes, the
A
inspection in
road trip.
local, yes, it's a road trip. So for me, it's what when you're dealing with the suspicious requirement in security, we call that the 4 C's protocols. You confirm, you clear, you
Mm.
communicate, then you control. So nothing's gonna happen. It's like when a
Because
person
of control.
is yes, you understand? So they don't care.
Oh yeah,
They
that
don't
we
care.
can really highlight that one with the bright pink highlighter. Then no, there's no care here. Absolutely none.
Yes.
Because when Banoy didn't come with the AVLs, which were a court order, the judge didn't start crying or throwing his fingers or saying Baloy is disrespecting me. I'm the highest power in this room. I gave an order. He said absolutely nothing. There were actually no consequences for not following
Mm,
the judge's order. And
yeah,
Nisi
no.
tried to reiterate it. He even said it was an order. And the judge
Mm.
looked sideways, kept quiet.
And even said it must be treated as such. So so now what is happening is that we must look because I also see on the comments when they're saying that is this going to happen. I also saw the comment of the AVL for X6. Let me just address the issue of the AVL. You see, AVL of a A6, it's X6, ne? It's not gonna come, ne? Because that case that is currently before us, it's not designed to find the truth. It's designed to conceal the truth. So it is defeating the ends of justice. It's a legal way of doing a process of defeating the ends of justice. When I always say this thing, Mzansi, I don't mince my word when I'm saying this. The case 636, it's aiding and abetting the criminality and the lies that are currently happening. So anybody that tells me anything or misinformation about this case, Mina, at least I can go on and on and on and on and on and tell you how all the witnesses have lied in court. But it's not my carry to force the defense to look at that. No, I've given up long time ago. So the issue of this, I mean, for me, is I don't think the inspection in local that's going to happen now, I think they will throw a spanner saying you need to. Balo is going to say, but there is no formal application that was made by MNIS. And you see, that's why for me, I have this thing that there is no formal application. Ratha's going to say, no, you mentioned in passing, I don't remember following the application. Balo is going to
Oof.
say, my lord, my lord, my colleagues, I thought they know what they're supposed to do. I've given them a leeway of 3 days while I'm preparing the logistics, with the view that part of the logistic was to prepare an a counter affidavit to say, you know what, there's no need for us to do these things. We can go and get photos. We can use technology to actually do that. Now, the problem with this case, Ne, is that they want to solve a 2014 incident with solution of 2025. It's impossible.
Yes, exactly that. That's exactly what is happening. Especially, and I think they are skipping past the fact that it was during the pandemic. That needs to be highlighted, that whatever touches 2020, they must not forget the element of the pandemic, which I watched your video where you spoke about Umchiako, and I think it was your video with Unwani.
Yes.
Umchiako and the sunglasses inside court and the mask. That is, wow. The cooking started a long time ago. But I feel we can go on and on with this conversation. This is a conversation, and I now want to read the book Uncle Tom's Cabin. I've downloaded it. I'm ready to go. I like to speak from a place of knowledge, so I
Yeah,
want
no,
to get my perspective on this. We'll read the book together. Let me guys know in the comment section. You know, we haven't engaged the comment section, and you know me, I like to engage the comment section. Let me know in the comment section if you want me to read the book on live. Just to give us, it's a very long book. Jamula.
yes, yeah, but
I'm not a
you know
60
what?
pages reading kind of person.
Yes, yeah, but your chapter 4 and your chapter 21, oh
Chapter
my
4.
goodness, and 21, oh my goodness, oh my
Okay. Chapter
goodness.
4, chapter 21. Okay.
Yeah, chapter
I
4 and
am on it.
21.
Thank you
Man,
so much, okay, for joining us. Thank you for all that you've thrown. You've opened my eyes. The inspection in loco is a disturbance to the state's case, but they will play along. We learned a new word, okay? First, the last word I learned was acerbic, and then toing and froing, but today there is ubiquitous. And then we are
yes,
all going to read the book, okay? Uncle Tom, chapters 4 and 21. And what else are we doing? Then we got a quick crash course on crisis management and safeguard principles. Kuningi, guys, it's a lot. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you tie it all up with a bow, the ugliest one you can find, and label the package Uncle Tom. We're going to do a complete series on this and keep talking about it because we heard him, but now I really heard him. And it hurts. It hurts a lot, especially, well, if you're Black. For me, as a Black female, um, that really hurt that is the things that he is saying out loud in court while wearing a red robe. It's crazy to me. And I don't think, therefore, the understanding is as universal. I think we heard the words Uncle Tom. We, made our own little conclusions what he means. But now that we've gone deeper inside Parat, this is disgusting, for lack of a better term. Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
So but this is not a spoiler. If you can, since there are people that are here, there's a clip that I want to play, basically.
sure.
Let's see. Let's see if it's going to.
Um,
Uncle Tom's Cabin was originally written as a newspaper series in 1851 by Harriet Beecher Stowe. It was published again as a book the following year. So why was this book so popular? Over the next few videos, we're going to take a look at Uncle Tom's Cabin, what it is, and why it had such a huge impact on the world. In this episode, we're going to take a look at a summary of the novel itself. The fugitive slave law had just been passed, and so the debate around slavery was at its strongest around this time. This story was written to expose the horrors of slavery. It follows two slaves, Uncle Tom, of course, and Eliza Harris, both the favorites of their master and mistress. Both had families, and both were faced with the choice to run away or not. Uncle Tom is the head slave on the Shelby plantation, and his wife is the head cook. They have 2 young sons and 1 baby girl. They became Christians about 4 years earlier at a camp, and Mr. Shelby, their master, has trusted them with everything on the house ever since. Eliza Harris is the personal maid of Emily Shelby, the master's wife. She's about 25 years old and is married to a man named George Shelby, who works at a factory nearby. They have a son named Harry, who's about 4 or 5 years old. The Shelbys have a son as well, who's 13 years old. His name is also George, but we'll call him Young George for now. He spends a lot of his time at Uncle Tom's cabin, playing with the kids, teaching Tom how to read, and sometimes joining them for their weekly church meeting. Young George is a strong Christian. Raised by his mother to treat slaves well, he promised Tom that he would free all the slaves and hire them again as servants instead. But unknown to young George or his mother, Mr. Shelby is in a lot of debt to a man named Haley, who's a slave trader. Shelby
So,
has to either
Njabz,
sell...
sorry, Njabz. I'm not sure what you're playing from and the copyright rules.
Okay. No, I was
No,
playing
I
it from
muted because I
YouTube.
wanted to get your attention.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
want to look in the background, and then we'll do it again after I know what the copyright is
Okay.
on that channel.
Okay.
Otherwise,
All
some
right.
people
No,
will be
that's
very
fine.
strict.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
We'll
No.
open up the whole
So.
conversation of
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's fine. No, thank you so much. If there aren't any question, I just looked at the comments. If there are questions that we've missed, I see Savoy says why defense doesn't subpoena
There's this
Gianco.
one.
Which one?
I put it on the screen. It says, "Njabz, are you safe, my brother?"
Oh yes, yes, I am. Yes. No, I'm safe. I'm safe.
Okay.
I'm safe until the God says so. You
I hear
know,
you.
Mzansi, sometimes once you hit the space, you will imagine. You'll actually imagine a person pulling up. Do you understand? And then you think how you're going to react. Do you understand? It does happen. I don't want to lie to you. It does happen, and you'll get these random things that will happen. But yeah, but it's one of those things that's life. Yeah, that's life. But I always say that what, when we're not being personal, we're just talking about the things that are happening in court. We're
On
just
the
being
record.
truthful about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because
That's what gives me, I would say, courage. Because I'm not talking about his car or his this and that. We're talking about what is being put on the record and reacting to it. So we didn't say he's an Uncle Tom. He said, "I am an Uncle Tom."
Yes.
2 different WhatsApp groups.
Yes, that is why I was saying that you'll see when you read that. Remember, I said he positioned himself as the person who's on top. So he's the head of the slavery. He's the savior. Remember what I said to you about the savior, where he's promising people that he's gonna take them out. I remember in one of the live, I think on TikTok, I think there's a lady by Upinki. Upinki used to read when we were trying to profile which was right. I remember her reading out and says, most people that Raja send them in jail, he will send them for 400 years. And then he says, I hope you come back a better person. No, yes,
Okay, I get it. The
yes.
sarcasm.
No,
I'm going to give you 400 years, and you're going to be this
yes,
immortal being. And I want you to come back a better person. It's not 5 years, it's 400 years.
400 years, yes. And then he will sentence like your former crime intelligence head for crimes that don't have even evidence that was tangible. Sentence them lot of counts different, and it says concurrent, and then the person is like 5 years, but he ends up spending 18 months in the police hospital, and then
Mm.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how this guy is actually behave. It's a person who made the ruling with the WHP case and said to the wife, you can have your husband's inheritance, but the body can go to the family for them to bury. Imagine. You see, he's a saver. He's
Okay, I'm
splitting.
going to end this live here.
Yes. All right. Yeah. So yeah. So
So
okay,
let's
guys.
end this live here. We can never finish the conversation. First of all, I
Yes.
want to say thank you so much to Njabz. Thank you to Noni. Thank you to each and every one of you, channel members, channel subscribers, even you watching outside the club. Thank you as well for following through on 3 lives as we celebrate Nisi Wemvula's achievement. I think that's a great achievement, running a marathon. I think Dan summed it up earlier, if not in another live, because we've done so many. There was a comment he put it here. I found it. Um, by the way, as an athlete, I'm proud of advocate Charles Nisi for his 10-hour run. Okay, we didn't know you were an athlete, Dan, so we're proud of you too. 3 years, 60,000 pages, 2 clients, Uncle Tom's judge, working with Uncle Tom, working with a Uncle Tom, self-professed Uncle Tom. Enjoy your rest. This is to Advocate Nisi and return strong. I'm going to end this live with that. Thank you to everybody. We did it. 3 whole marathons. We did the Comrades Marathon here on YouTube. This was great. This was amazing. I'll catch you on the next live. Good night, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Make sure if you're watching from the replay, you hit that, you drop a five. Drop a five in the comment section, say replay, gang, and I'll be there to say hi. Bye. Good night.